Before I break down my bracket, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's Leo Messi and this debate on whether or not he deserves to be newcomer or not, or whether or not he deserves any awards, because it seems like that's a hot topic whenever his name come up, especially MLS awards, based on the fact that he didn't play a full season. And my thought toward that is, so what? So what if he didn't play a full season? This is Leo Messi we're talking about. This is not some average European player who played a couple years in the Premier League or in the Bundesliga and the Champions League, and he turned out to be a valuable player for his team. This is one of the greatest soccer players of our generation. And the fact that he chose to come play in MLS and be an impactful player, he just wasn't one of these great guys who came and he didn't have much of an impact on the field. The team changed drastically overnight. And not only Miami drastically changed overnight, Major League Soccer drastically changed overnight. Before Messi arrived to MLS, how often did you see high-profile names, musicians, actors, high-profile athletes? How often did you see them at an MLS match? Before Messi came, how often was MLS talked about in mainstream media circles? It's safe to say that if it wasn't for Leo Messi, we wouldn't see any MLS segments on CBS. MLS will most likely still be unknown. You see, Messi winning this newcomer award, it is deeper than stats. It is deeper than him winning League's Cup. Messi has changed the game. He changed the league for the better. So that's something that we should keep in mind when it comes to any awards regarding Messi. And I'll even take it a step further. He should win MVP. If MLS decides that Messi should be MVP, they're doing the right thing. Because his presence alone it skyrocketed MLS's growth. We talk about we want to see the salary cap increase. We talk about we want to see more DPs added. We talk about we want to see less roster restrictions. We talk about we want to see more good players come to MLS. It all starts with Leo Messi. So if MLS decides that he should be the MVP, it's a good thing. I know Lucho Acosta, he done more for Cincinnati throughout this whole season. But you got to remember, this is an entertainment business. And the fact that Messi has brought some notoriety, some exposure, some casual sports fans, non-sports fans into watching MLS game. That means a lot. Leo Messi is going to be the reason, despite Miami not being in the playoffs. Leo Messi is one of the reasons why more people will watch MLS playoffs than ever before this year. So that's just something that you should keep in mind. Now, sticking to the MLS Cup playoff discussion, I created my bracket, and as you can see, I chose LAFC to win it all again this year. But before I go deep into LAFC, I'm gonna break down round by round, starting in the East. So, New York Red Bulls, Cincy. New York Red Bulls, yeah, I saw what you did to Charlotte, and your win against Charlotte was very impressive. But it's Charlotte. Anybody can beat Charlotte in a wild card. And to be honest with you, the reason why Charlotte made it to the wild card is because NYCFC, Chicago, and DC United dealt with identity crisis this season. Maybe this offseason, those three teams will figure it out and, gain a sense of purpose in their personal lives. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful to your win against Charlotte because you played really, really well. But it's Charlotte. The real test will start in round 1 against Cincy. And quite honestly, in a 3-game series, talent matters. If this was just one game, yeah, you could pull off the upset. But the fact that this is 3 series and teams have more time to study the opponent than you have in the regular season, I got Cincy advancing. Now, if you prove me wrong, that would be good for your organization. And if you do get past Cincy, then it's a strong... We will have to consider you making it to the Eastern Conference Finals if you get past Cincy, because Cincy is loaded. Cincy is loaded with talent. And they're really good. Good coaching staff, good players, and everybody's committed, everybody's focused. So, no, I do not see you beating Cincy in a 3-game series. So I got Cincy advancing. Next, Philadelphia, New England. If this was a single elimination tournament, I would pick Philadelphia Union. But because this is a 3-game series, there's a chance. New England Revolution. New England Revolution. My question to you is, are you ready to be taken serious in the 2020s? As long as you have been around, it's a shame that other clubs in the East have surpassed you in terms of popularity and success. It's a shame that Atlanta United and New York City Football Club have won an MLS Cup before you. And it will be another damn shame if Cincinnati ends up winning an MLS Cup title before you. New England Revolution, you have no stars. You've been around for over 20 years and you have no stars. You know, I've been thinking a lot about your lead investor, your head investor. We all know who that guy is. Whenever you watch the New England Patriots on Sunday afternoons, you always see him in the press box, clapping his hands, cheering for the Patriots. If you ever watch a Boston Red Sox game, every now and then, you'll catch him in the press box, cheering for the Red Sox, especially when they play the Yankees. The Boston Celtics. When it comes to the Boston Celtics, he makes sure people see his face. He doesn't sit in the press box. Oh no, he has a front row seat because he wants to make sure the world sees him when he's at a Boston Celtics match. But when it comes to the New England Revolution, whenever I watch the Revs on Apple TV, and even last year on ESPN Plus, I've never seen an image of Robert Kraft in a press box or front row seats cheering on for the Revolution. Why do you think that is? Maybe it's because the Revs haven't met expectation that will encourage and motivate the lead investor to show up. You see, the lead investor loves to support champions. Sports fans in New England support champions. They don't support runner-ups. Patriots are known as champions. Celtics are known as champions. Red Sox are known to be champions. When it comes to the Revolution, they are known to be runner-ups. And yes, you have won the Supporter Shield, which is a good accomplishment, and it shouldn't be devalued. It is not devalued. That's a good accomplishment. But you don't earn any stars for winning the Supporter Shield. You get your stars by winning the MLS Cup championship. This is one reason why MLS Cup playoffs is more prestigious than MLS regular season. You see, in MLS Cup playoffs, you don't have to worry about balancing US Open Cup, Leagues Cup, CONCACAF competitions. It's all MLS. And the fact that you have a 3-game series, this new playoff format, in my honest opinion, you have a better chance to win it all. And here's why. Because you have more time to study your opponent. You just don't, your fate is not reliant on one game. You have the opportunity to make some mistakes in your first game and bounce back for the next 2 games. This is why you have a better chance of star collecting in this 2020 decade, New England Revolution. But the question is, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be up there in prestige with the Patriots, the Red Sox, and the Celtics? There is no doubt in my mind that if the people of Boston viewed you as champions, you would have gotten that soccer-specific stadium many years ago. It wouldn't be all the way until 2025 and you're still playing in Foxborough. New England Revolution. You're going against your arch rival, the Philadelphia Union. And a lot of people don't believe that you can beat them. But you know what? I will be the odd man in this one. And I say, you can beat them. The reason why I believe you can beat them? Because I've seen Philly all this year. And the one thing I noticed about Philly, non-tactical wise now, because I'm not a tactical person, they do not play well when they're uncomfortable. Philadelphia Union plays at its best when they're comfortable. When you force them outside of their comfort zone, they are beatable. That's their weakness right there. Now the question is, New England Revolution, how can you get Philadelphia Union outside of their comfort zone? You force a 3-game series. You force this series to go to 3 games. You see, earlier this season, it was either last month or a couple weeks ago, their goalkeeper, he was complaining about players having to play too many games. And I believe any player that complains about playing too many games is a sign of weakness right there. Look at NBA, for example. Guys taking too many games off because they're saying they're playing too many games. And as a result of that, load management became popular and it weakened the game. You had less strong players lasting throughout the whole season because their mindset wasn't right. Their mindset was we have to play too many games instead of having a mindset of I'm playing these many games to these many games that I'm playing will provide an opportunity for me to win championships. That comment made by Philadelphia Union's goalkeeper is a reflection of the whole team. If he came public if he was bold enough to become public with that statement, you best believe that those players are having that same conversations privately more often than ever. So Philadelphia Union, their mind is already not right. They're not entering this playoffs with the right mindset. And what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to sweep you because they don't want to play too many games. They want to play the least amount of playoff games that they can during this playoffs. So what they're going to do, New England Revolution, they're going to try to sweep you in 2 games. Your job, New England Revolution, is to take this series to 3 games and beat them. You take this series to 3. I guarantee you'll win because you're going to put the Union in an uncomfortable situation. You're going to put them in a situation that they don't want to be in, and that's playing too many games. Columbus, Atlanta. I got Columbus beat at Atlanta because Atlanta's not championship ready yet. Even with the good adjustments they made during the summer transfer window, Atlanta's not championship ready yet. They lack maturity right now. The reason why I believe they lack maturity is because they can't hold leads. Teams that cannot hold leads, that's a huge sign of immaturity. And they need some veteran leadership. Now, I'm not saying they need guys that's in like past the age 35, but they need more well-seasoned, mature guys that understands the grind of playing in MLS, because playing in MLS is a grind. And you can't be weak-minded to play in this type of league. Also, I believe that Wilfred Nancy, his coaching staff, is better than Gonzalo Pineda. And in this playoff series, tactics does matter. As much as I don't like talking about tactics, I like to focus more on the entertainment aspect of the game. When it comes to the playoffs, tactics matters. Whoever has the best tactics in this series is going to win. Now, I can't explain what kind of soccer tactics that is, but the better coaching staff, the better coaching decisions, whoever makes the best coaching decisions during this series will win it. And in my opinion, Wilfred Nancy is a better decision maker than Gonzalo Pineda. And he has a better relationship with his players than Gonzalo Pineda. That's just my opinion. That's why I have Columbus beating Atlanta. Atlanta's very immature right now. Orlando, Nashville. Orlando's the better team. Just plain and simple. Orlando is the better team. If Orlando doesn't win this series, that's going to be a huge disappointment. If Orlando gets eliminated in this first round, this season is a failure. Orlando is the better team. If you take away Hani Mukhtar from Nashville, who else does Nashville have? Nashville doesn't have a lot of depth. They don't have the same kind of depth that Orlando has. Orlando, you got Torres, you got Maguire. And Orlando has been hot. Orlando has been hot this second half of the season without signing any superstar players. I don't see any team in the East beating Orlando. I don't. That's why I have them beating Columbus in the second round. Cincy, New England in the second round. The reason why I have Cincy beating New England in the second round is because Cincy's just more talented. The injury bug will catch up with New England. New England lost some key players during the regular season. A lot of the fans are blaming turf, the fake grass, which is why you fans should put more pressure on Kraft to get this stadium in Boston or wherever he wants it. But at the same time, New England Revolution, you got to remember, Boston honors champions. But I just don't think you're better than Cincy. So I don't think you're going to beat Cincy. That's why I have you losing to Cincy in the second round. Eastern Conference Championship, I don't see any team. If Orlando continues to play as hot as they're playing right now, I don't see any team in the East beating Orlando. Yes, Cincy is really good. And if this Eastern Conference Championship really happens between Cincy and Orlando, not only do I have this going to a third game, but this is going to end in penalty kicks. I just don't see anybody slowing down Orlando. That's why I have Orlando going to the MLS Cup Championship. Does it mean they're going to make it? No, it does not mean. This is just my opinion. Now, to the West. Kansas City, St. Louis. Kansas City, we all know that you're a huge underdog. And I'm one of the few non-Kansas City fans who have you beating St. Louis. The reason why I have you beating St. Louis, Kansas City, because you need to get that last laugh. You need to remind St. Louis that if it wasn't for you, the pioneer of MLS, there wouldn't be a St. Louis City. You were among the other pioneers in the Revolution and the Galaxy in Dallas and Colorado and New York Red Bulls and San Jose. You were among that pioneer group that paved the way for a St. Louis City. You need to use this series to let St. Louis City fans know that they need to respect their elders. You see, this playoff series, this is not an ordinary playoff series. It's personal. It's about respect. And there is no compromise when it comes to you gaining your respect because you deserve it. You played during the days of the 90s and the early 2000s when there was no social media, there is no YouTube. MLS was largely unknown. You never gave up. You never tapped out. You never went out of business. You stayed the course. But because a lot of us new generation sports fans, we have short-term memory, we easily forget. So Kansas City, you need to treat this series like your livelihood is on the line. And that is something that you will not compromise. When somebody disrespects your entire organization, you can't compromise that. There's no compromise behind that, Kansas City. That's the theme for this series for you, Kansas City. Or whenever you face St. Louis, no compromise. You're not going to compromise respect. It's one thing for a team to beat you, but it's another thing when they disrespect you. And that's something that you cannot compromise. Houston, Royal Salt Lake. Houston is the favorite. And let me be honest. The main reason I chose Houston to beat Royal Salt Lake is because Houston's the more exciting team. These two teams may be evenly matched. But I just like their head coach's, his redemption story. Ben Olsen. I mean, you look at what happened to DC United and what's still going on with DC United. And then you look at what's going on with Ben Olsen in Houston. Now we're looking at DC United and saying, oh, so your ownership group was the problem. And it still is the problem right now. I mean, when Houston said they're going to hire Ben Olsen, I mean, many people were just trashing his name. They're like, how can you hire a coach like Ben Olsen? People were saying that Ben Olsen was trash. That's what they're saying. They're saying Ben Olsen was trash. But look who's in the playoffs. And look who's not in the playoffs. So hopefully that redemption story will carry over past the first round. But the advantage that Salt Lake has is that altitude. So we'll see. But I choose Houston because they're more entertaining. But when it comes to this playoffs, we know tactics matters more than entertainment. So this is probably a toss-up in a lot of people's bracket between Houston and Royal Salt Lake. LAFC over Vancouver. If LAFC loses this series, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And that's just plain and simple. If Vancouver upsets LAFC, a lot of people in that LAFC organization, I'm talking about coaching staff, players, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. It's just plain and simple. Same with Seattle, Dallas. If Dallas upsets Seattle in this series, well, I don't even know if a lot of people are going to lose their job because I'm not sure if Seattle is as ambitious now as they were back in 2021. But it's going to be a bad look for your organization, Seattle, because this one thing you got to remember. There's a lot of people, I'm talking about MLS fans and MLS followers, who don't want to see you succeed. They don't take you serious. So, me personally, I think Seattle is the better team. That's why I got Seattle advancing. I think LAFC is better than Vancouver. That's why I have LAFC advancing. It's just simple, in my opinion. LAFC, Seattle are the better teams. Western Conference, second round. I got Houston advancing Kansas City because Houston is just more entertaining. I put a lot. Entertainment matters to me. When I watch sports, entertainment matters to me. So I'm always going to favor the more entertaining team than the least entertaining team. The Seattle LAFC. One thing I notice about the Sounders is that whenever they play against Los Angeles, whether it's LAFC or LA Galaxy, it's a different Sounders team on that field. It's like they go Super Saiyan mode. Even though LAFC is the most talented team, the Sounders can win this if this goes to 3-game series. They'll have the home field advantage. But at the same time, they can win this in 2 games because the Sounders are not afraid to play in Los Angeles. The Sounders are one of the few MLS teams that are not intimidated playing in Los Angeles. There's not many MLS teams now, but Sounders are one of the few teams that are not intimidated by Los Angeles fans, whether it's LAFC fans or Galaxy fans. However, in my bracket, I favor the more talented team, which is why I chose LAFC. Because for me, entertainment matters more than tactics. However, I know realistically in this playoff, tactics is going to matter more, which is why I might be wrong when it comes to LAFC surpassing Seattle. I really might be wrong. Because Seattle has the home field advantage. And at the same time, because they play so well in Los Angeles, they could sweep LAFC. It's very possible. But because of my interests in entertainment, because I put entertainment over tactics, I have LAFC beating the Sounders. But I won't be surprised if the Sounders prove me wrong. I seriously won't be surprised if it's a MLS Cup championship match between Seattle and Orlando instead of LAFC Orlando. But I'm just going to stick with my picks. And when it comes to Western Conference Final, like I said, entertainment. LAFC, Houston, two very high-scoring, exciting teams to watch. That's why I have LAFC, Houston making it to the Western Conference Final, and I have LAFC beating Orlando. Talent matters. For me as just a regular sports fan, for me who is not really into soccer tactics, for me who never played high school soccer, I never played college soccer, I never played USL soccer, I never played MLS soccer, I've never played professional soccer. Just me as a regular guy, a jag, just a guy. Entertainment matters to me. Talented teams, I want to see them do well. And LAFC, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, there is no team in Major League Soccer this year who is more talented than you. There is no team in this playoffs that is more exciting to watch. Now, St. Louis fans, I know you have something to say about that, which is fine. But in my honest opinion, what I believe, there is no team that is better than you in this playoffs. In LAFC, you also believe that. You also know that. But what's going to get you, LAFC, is your arrogance. The reason why you won't win a MLS Cup title again this year, it will be because of your arrogance. Listen, one thing I realized this year, whenever I made LAFC hype videos and, the 32-52 or roll call, that turned out to be bad luck. That turned out, the team didn't respond well. So I'm not doing any more LAFC hype videos indefinitely. I'm not doing any more 32-52 roll calls indefinitely, at least for the rest of this year. I'm not doing that anymore. Because LAFC, you're not there yet. You're still not more successful than the Seattle Sounders. You're not more successful than DC United. And we know you're nowhere near the success of LA Galaxy. You still got a lot of work to do. And I'm not going to be one of those guys that continue to praise you when you haven't earned those praises. You still got a lot of work to do, LAFC. The reason why I choose you to win this title, because I still believe that you can be great. But do you believe? You see, a team that knows they are great, they don't take other opponents for granted. They treat every opponent they play as a threat. Because they know that the throne can be taken away from them at any moment. When you start from nothing and you start gaining something, you don't want to easily lose it. I'm not sure if you have that kind of mindset, LAFC, but that's the kind of mindset that you should have. As for Orlando, you got nothing to lose. Most people, there's a lot of people who have you losing to Nashville in the first round. And then there's a large group of people that if you do pass Nashville, nobody sees you passing Columbus or Atlanta in the second round. Most people don't have you making it to the MLS Cup title like I do. But for me, in my opinion, it's just something about a team that when they get hot at the right time, nobody can put out that fire. And I see that fire in you, Orlando. The reason why I have you losing to LAFC, because not only LAFC is more talented, but they have more championship experience, MLS Cup championship experience. So that's my bracket. These are the teams I choose. And in closing, when it comes to rewarding great players, certain rules don't apply to them. Yeah, I know it's not fair, but fairness is an illusion. Great players don't have to go by the rules. That's just how life is. You think MLS will have a record number of attendance if it wasn't for Messi? You think MLS will have record number viewership if it wasn't for Messi? You think MLS will have an increase in fan engagement on social media if it wasn't for Messi? This is bigger than stats. So if he wins Newcomer of the Year and MVP this year, he deserves it. Because the rules don't apply to great players. Now, a lot of people like to use this word great loosely. I'm not talking about very good players. I'm talking about global icons. That's what I mean about great. Because there's a lot of very good players we like to call great. No. I'm talking about global icons. Where people outside of the country know who they are. People who are known worldwide. And people that have won multiple championships over time. That's what I'm talking about, greatness. I'm talking about global icons. They don't have to follow the rules. The rules follow them. The rules make adjustments for them. Because that's just how life is. And if you don't like it, oh well. It's not only an MLS thing. This is sports. It's not even only sports. It's life. It's life. If somebody's known to be a great doctor, he gets to create his own rules. If somebody's known as a great politician who create policies that help people, who helps people's life improves, he gets to create his own rules. That's just how life is. So if Messi wins Newcomer of the Year and MVP, it's a good thing for MLS. And lastly, I will close on this. This is what I'm closing on. I just want to repeat again. I'm not doing any more LAFC hype videos this year. I'm not doing any more 3252 roll call this year. LAFC has not earned that. They still got a lot of work to do. The Mexicans reminded them they still got a lot of work to do.